Hi, kindergartners. Before we read our book, A Tree for Emmy again, I just want to go back and think about what has happened so far in the story. So I'm going to look at my character comparison graph that I made yesterday, and I want to think about what happened at the beginning of the story. And this is helping me remember that Emmy was playing with a mimosa tree at her grandma's house. She loves to swing on the branches. She shakes the seed pods out of the tree, and they kind of sound like maracas, so she can make music out of them. And I remember that Emmy's family does not play with the mimosa tree. Emmy's family is not even really in the beginning of the story. So I remember that those two characters were different during the beginning of the story. During the middle of the story, I remember Emmy wants a mimosa tree for her birthday present. I also remember Emmy's family wanting to get a mimosa tree for Emmy for her birthday. So I remember that those two characters were the same during the middle of the book. Then I'm going to fill out the end of the book after I read. So let's read our last part of A Tree for Emmy. But buying a mimosa tree was not so easy. A mimosa, said the man at the garden store. We don't have any of those. Why not? Asked Emmy. Mimosas grow wild. We don't sell them. Why not? Asked Emmy. You don't buy wildflowers, do you, young lady? Said the man. Stores don't sell clover and dandelions. Clovers and dandelions are pretty, Emmy said. So why don't the stores sell mimosa trees? I want you to pause the video and think about why don't the stores sell mimosa trees? Now that you've had some time to think about that question, I'm going to answer it from what I remember from the book. I remember that the guy at the store said they don't buy mimosa trees because they don't sell wild trees. And I guess mimosa trees are considered wild trees. Sorry, said the lady at the next shop. No one sells wild trees. But it's going to be my birthday present, said Emmy. The lady smiled. We have plum trees and peach trees, sweetie. They will give you nice fruit. But they don't have fuzzy pink flowers, said Emmy. Here's a tulip tree, said the lady. It has a lovely pink blossoms in the spring. Are they fuzzy? Asked Emmy. No, said the lady. Do they have rattly seed pods that shake, shake, shake? Asked Emmy. No, said the lady. Pink fuzz and seed pods make a dreadful mess. I'm sure your parents wouldn't want that. We want what Emmy wants, said Daddy. Come on, Emmy, we'll find something else for your birthday. I don't want anything else, said Emmy. Mama hugged her. I know, honey, but we can't find your tree right now. Just for today, could you visit Grandma's tree? I guess, sighed Emmy. At Grandma's, she ran straight to her favorite tree and gave it a hug. Dumb old stores, said Emmy. No mimosas, no fair. She flopped down under the tree and squeezed her eyes shut to keep in the tears. I want you to help me understand this major event that's going on in our story right now. Why is Emmy crying? Go ahead and pause the video if you need some time to think. to be able to answer the question, why is Emmy crying? Now that you've had some time to think about the answer to the question, why is Emmy crying? I'm going to tell you what I think that I've read throughout the story. I think Emmy's crying because none of the stores sold the mimosa tree, so she couldn't get her birthday present. I would be sad too. Something touched Emmy's nose. She opened her eyes. A big weed was tickling her face. No, it wasn't a weed. With that long stem and those feathery green leaves, it looked like. Wait a minute. Could it be? It was a mimosa tree. Emmy ran to get Mamma and Daddy and Grandma. My, said Grandma, peering down. That's a mimosa, all right. A baby one, but a tree all the same. Can I have it, Grandma? Begged Emmy. For my birthday, please. Why, surely, said Grandma. So Grandma and Emmy set to work. Carefully, they dug up the tiny tree. Emmy wrapped the roots in wet newspaper so they wouldn't dry out. Then they put the mimosa in a big tomato can for the trip home. Now I want you to think about where did they end up finding this mimosa tree and who helps her find it? Emmy, or did her family help her? Go ahead and pause the video if you need some time to think. Now that you've had time to think about the question, I want to tell you my thoughts about the question. So my question was, where is the mimosa tree found and who finds it, Emmy or her family? I remember that Emmy finds the mimosa tree at her grandma's house. Emmy scouted the yard for a special place for her tree. Under my window, she decided, so I can see it all the time. Emmy and her parents dug a hole for the little tree. I can't wait for fuzzy pink flowers and rattly seed pods, said Emmy. When will that be? Emmy, honey, it's just a baby tree, said Mamma. It won't have flowers or pods for quite a spell. It won't? Said Emmy. Nope, said Mamma. No fair, yelled Emmy. Dumb old tree. She ran to her room and flopped on the bed. She buried her head in her pillow and wished for a tree like Grandma's, stubborn and strong and tall. Emmy called her tree a dumb old tree on this page. Why do you think she's calling her tree names? Go ahead and pause the video if you need some time to think. Now that you've had some time to think, I think that Emmy called her tree names because the tree will take so long to grow and she doesn't want to wait. She wants it to be big and tall and strong like Grandma's. Vroom! Emmy sat up and looked out the window. Daddy was cutting the grass. Soon he would be under her window. She ran outside. Daddy! She shouted, waving her arms. Daddy turned off the lawnmower. My tree, said Emmy. You're going to mow over it. Said Daddy. You mean the dumb old tree? Emmy looked down at her tiny tree. It can't help being small, she said. It will grow someday if I water it and love it and keep it safe. I suppose so, Daddy said. Why don't we build it a fence? So Emmy and her daddy made a stick and string fence all around the tree. Now it can grow, said Emmy. Till then, I can pick pink blossoms off of Grandma's tree. But some day soon, Emmy knew her baby tree would grow up tall, stubborn, and strong, and a little bit wild, just like her. The end. Now that I'm done reading my story, I'm going to go back and fill out the ending part to my character comparison chart. So, I want you to help me think about what Emmy was doing at the end of the story. I remember that Emmy builds a fence to protect her tree so that it will grow. So I'm going to draw tree. Excuse me. And then I'm going to draw a fence all around it. Okay. Now I need to remember what Emmy's family was doing at the end of the story. At the end of the story, I remember that Emmy's family helps her build the fence so that she can protect her tree. So I'm going to write helps Emmy build the fence to protect her tree. So here I'm again going to draw tree and the fence. So now we need to decide if the two characters that we are comparing, Emmy and Emmy's family, whether they were the same or different at the end of the story. And we just decided that Emmy builds a fence to protect her tree, and we decided that Emmy's family helps Emmy build the fence to protect her tree because they want that for her too. So if I were to decide whether it's the same or different, I would say that they are the same at the end of the story. So I would put S for same. Okay. So these are some things I want you to think about as you read stories. When you are thinking about the characters, you can compare characters throughout any story and see whether they have the same or different opinions or parts of their book. Okay.